Hey everyone, it's Supra, and this is my AT Launcher Showdown, in which I'm going to give a fair and sensible opinion on each of the launchers and in which situations they excel at, if they excel, and which AT launcher I think is the most stable, reliable and versatile option. And with what I've seen using all of the AT launchers, there are more factors to the damage output. Now it seems if you hit a tank from a 90-degree angle, it does much more damage than hitting it from a 10-degree angle, which is realistic, so I can't argue with that. So let's start with the MBT law, or the IN law. The IN law is the engineer anti-tank launcher crutch, and it is the worst AT launcher out of all of the ones out of all the AT launchers that you can use. Because it only senses other vehicles from about 1 to 2 meters away, it's basically a weak RPG. I think for the IN law to actually be a feasible option, they need to increase the range in which it senses vehicles around it to about 5 meters. You unlock RPGs as somewhat a sigh of relief after the IN law, because of the factor of which angle you impact the target that dictates the damage output. Sometimes you can get less damage output than that of an IN law. But rockets overall are easier to use because they're higher velocity compared to Battlefield 3. But I just don't feel really inclined to give much more of an opinion about them because I want to try out more stuff. And, you know, everything is much more interesting than the RPGs because we've been used to them in Battlefield 3. Moving on to the other missiles, the Javelin and the S-Rod. The differences between the Javelin in Battlefield 4 compared to Battlefield 3 is that you have to keep painting it and that it will impact from the top instead of the angle that's closest to the missile. The Javelin always does a consistent 25 damage output. The Javelin and the S-Rod are both designed to be used defensively, but the S-Rod will be most people's favourite simply because it's the most free to use, because you can shoot anything in the most fun fashion. The only drawback or disadvantage of the S-Shot is that it's the slowest velocity projectile, so you can't really engage anything at close range without quickly being compromised. But the thing with the S-Shot is that I'm pretty sure that it's not wire guided and it's actually laser guided. Difference being, wire guided takes more skill. I'm using the AT4 from Bad Company 2 as a reference to think by here, because that was wire guided. You had to sometimes put the target out of your line of sight to even have the missile impact, and that's why that was such a skill-based tool to use. I still say that the S-Raw is requires the most skill to use. It's just easier to use than a wire-guided one. Maybe I'm just talking a whole load of bollocks, but that's what I feel like it is. Lastly, we have the Mark 153 Small, and I rate this the most stable and reliable and versatile option, and it's my favourite because of it being rated second hardest to use, so that it'll do almost the same damage output as an RPG, but because it's much more easy to zero and it has the same velocity as an RPG, you can hit long range targets or hit anything just much more accurately, which leads to higher damage output. I rate it being most versatile because you can use it in close range, you can use it in long range, you can use it in a mobile, angled surface like in a transport chopper, and you can fire it from that and be pretty accurate. Because tanks can take more of a beating now, and there are more factors that dictate damage output, the Mark 153 Small is a more reliable option because of it allowing you to be much more accurate compared to the RPG. So hopefully that was a sensible and fair comparison and showdown. If you think that I'm wrong and that the S-Raw or the Javelin or the RPG beats it, then go ahead and tell me why you think so. So, hope you enjoyed the video, guys. Please like or dislike the video. That's all I have to say. So, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll talk to you later.